Konnichiwa Dragon, my fellow Kiryu Kai, and welcome to my channel. I'll be your bartender for today, and I'll be making a cocktail for the legendary, OG, Dragon of Hololive, Kiryu Coco. Coco was such a huge part of Hololive history that it would be impossible for me not to make a cocktail tribute for her. Plus, it's the year of the dragon, so I'm so happy that I got such a fitting year for this occasion. Coco was known to be mature, dependable, commanding of respect, and I'm so honored to be able to celebrate her anniversary with you guys here today. Happy anniversary, Kaichou. Coco's role in the development of Hololive simply cannot be understated. First, let's talk about Asa Coco. No, not the drug, the morning talk show hosted by Coco. For many, it was just something to watch as they got ready for work. For others, it was just a weird talk show that had many questionable commercials. But for the talents themselves, it was something unprecedented. Sadly, I can't remember which talent said this. Perhaps it was multiple. But they were so surprised that Coco, at the height of her growth, would dedicate such a big time slot to just talking about other members, other VTubers, from sharing the news to big VTuber events to silly jokes. Anything was fair game, and this would push her viewers to the other members' channels to see if those outlandish claims are true, and it would bring the other members' viewers to watch Asa Coco to share in the merriment and the jokes. And this really kickstarted how interwoven our Hololive community was. And it inspired many others to do the same. We have Asa Mio, Asa Koyo, we even had Asa Moko at one point. Speaking of which, Coco was a huge supporter of starting a Halloween branch, and I cannot thank her enough for pushing for that. Man, I cannot think of Hololive without Coco's influence. Anyways, that's enough of me gushing over Coco's achievements. Let's talk about today's cocktail and the ingredients. As many of you may know, Coco was a huge Yakuza simp, to almost delusional levels. I can say that now, since she's no longer with us, right? Right? Yeah, okay, rest in peace. Anyways, I started thinking about what kind of cocktail would a Yakuza member prefer to drink. Well, in the game, a lot of whiskey was prominently featured. I mean, it's Japan after all, and whiskey's quite popular there. I also got the impression that they would prefer, for lack of a better term, a cocktail that seemed more macho, tough, strong, right? So I thought that a whiskey cocktail would be best here. And the daddy of all whiskey cocktails has to be the old-fashioned. For our ingredients, we're going to need whiskey, of course. I have here Bullet Rye. This is a very good introductory rye. It's got strong flavor and it's very affordable. Next, we're going to need sugar cubes, peach syrup. I would have liked to use fresh peaches here, like I said before, but we're not in season anymore. And Angostura bitters. Now, this is a pretty simple cocktail ingredients-wise, but the preparation might surprise you. Now let's make the cocktail. We're going to need a rocks glass for this, and we want the inside to be completely dry. Next, we're going to take a sugar cube and drop it in the glass. Now we grab our Angostura bitters, and we're going to add in 7 to 9 dashes into the glass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this is a lot of bitters, but we need this much because we're going to be using this to flame the glass. I mean, she's a dragon after all. Now grab a muddler and crush the sugar cube. Okay, now mush it around until it starts to form like a paste. Okay, now give it a swirl, just to make things mix together evenly. Okay, there we are. Now, the next steps are a little bit on the dangerous side, so don't try this at home if you're not confident. Takes quite a bit of practice to start getting it right consistently, and we also need to move relatively quickly. So let's move on to the next steps now. Okay, now I'm going to light a match. I lit a match, but we're actually going to light a toothpick. Match burns too quickly for our purposes. Okay, now quickly take your glass, swirl around the bitters a bit more, just to get that spread around. And while spinning the glass, we're going to light the bitters. There we go. I never get tired of looking at that. Swirl the drink some more just to spread out the flame. Okay, perfect. Now, optionally, you take some cinnamon and add it for some flair. She's a dragon after all. Okay, very nice. Now, I'm going to take my ice here. This is clear ice, but the cube's kind of small now, but it's okay. We're gonna gently lower it down with our spoon, and the fire is gonna interact with the ice, hopefully. As you can see, it should form some vapor, and hopefully it will start to fill up the glass. There you go. So it adds a little bit of a smokiness. It's mostly but water vapor, actually, but a bit of a smoky steaminess to the drink. And it also, the flame caramelizes the sugars, has a bit of a more caramelized taste to it. Next, we're going to add 1/4 ounce of peach syrup. And now the bourbon, 2 ounces. Okay, take our bar spoon and give the whole thing a bit of a stir. Now I have here a strip of lemon peel that I cut. We're going to express it over the top of the drink. And now I have this katana skewer that I've got laying around. I've already prepared the garnish. I cleaned up the lemon peel and rolled it up, skewered it through, and then I also added a little cocktail cherry. We're just gonna put it right on top here. And there you have it. I present to you the Old Dragon. This drink is infused with fire and smoke and peaches that Coco loves. So it really brings out the feeling of a dragon. And of course, this is a cocktail that I think that any Yakuza member would enjoy sipping, or at least pretending to sip while looking badass. Yes, this is definitely a badass cocktail for a badass woman. I hope this cocktail captures the essence and is worthy of being attributed to the legendary dragon of Hololive. Okay, now let's give it a taste. I'm gonna set this garnish aside. First, let's give it a smell. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. We've got the fresh citrus smell of the lemon, and of course a lot of the burnt caramelized sugar scent rolling around, also from the bitters, that herbal aroma, a little bit of a peachy aroma. There's a lot of peach notes in bourbon usually, so that peach syrup sort of brings it out and sweetens it out, rounds it. But yeah, we also get a lot of that aged bourbon notes, well, rye whiskey notes from the bullet rye. Now, let's take a little sip. Old fashions are not for everyone, but this one with the caramelized sugar and the peach syrup kind of rounds it out a bit, makes it a bit more enjoyable for most palates. Still pretty strong. The prominent taste is still the rye whiskey. So you definitely want to have a good whiskey when making an old-fashioned. I don't know like all too much, but I've heard that rye is a pretty good start. Let's take another sip. So there's not a lot of sweetness going on right now, but this is the kind of drink that'll evolve as you drink it, because Sugar likes to settle, especially granular sugar in the sugar cube. It doesn't really dissolve very well, so it'll just stay on the bottom. And that peach syrup will sort of mix better, but it also tends to stay towards the bottom. So as you start drinking it and finishing the drink will get sweeter and sweeter. So it'll actually taste, in my opinion, better as you finish the drink. But right now it's still mostly bourbon, or mostly rye whiskey. But yeah, this is, I gotta say, a macho drink, very strong, very alcohol forward, but I think people who really love old fashions, they swear by the strength of your bourbon or your whiskey. But yeah, anyways, this is still a pretty solid drink. I prefer ones that are more in the sour style with lemon juice to balance things out. But this one, I think it's a very classic cocktail. It's called the Old Fashioned, so it's definitely the daddy of all whiskey cocktails, I would say. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please leave your fond memories of Coco in the comments down below. If you have an idea for a dragon-inspired cocktail, please let me know. We're waiting for you, Kaichou. Only 497 years to go. And I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers, and thank you.